Hi, I'm Tom Hakeem, and once again, welcome to the opportunity to meet the candidates. This is a good chance to get to see, put the face with the poster, with the people you might or might not know, and learn a little bit about them. And I'm real happy to have with me current Clinton Township trustee, running for treasurer, my good friend Tammy Patton. Hi.
How
Thanks
are
for
you?
coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy lady, and
Never too busy
spent
for
a little.
you.
Oh, I feel special already. Obviously, a lot of people in the township in the area know you and know who you are. However, we always get new people.
Yes.
And we get people who don't know everybody. So let's take a couple minutes. Tell them a little bit about you
A little
first.
about me.
A little bit about you
All right,
first.
Cool. So my name again, I'm Tammy Patton, and I am a current trustee. I was elected in 2020. I have resided in Clinton Township for 20 years. My awesome husband and I have been married almost 28, and we have 6 children.
Beautiful.
And I'm just a real basic person. I'm a family-oriented person, community-driven, always have been. I'm an Army veteran, actually a disabled Army veteran now, and service is my thing. I've learned that since I was younger, and I don't want to just keep revisiting that, but it was something that was instilled in me when I was just knee-high, and I've been doing it ever since. So my commitment has always been to the community and to our township. So,
In the township, where you've had experience as a trustee,
yes.
obviously it's a great place to live, and for the most part, it's good.
It's good.
However, everything good can be a little better.
Mm-hmm.
As a trustee, I know you had your moments and
Yes.
had some good things come about because of the fact you were there. Had some things didn't quite work out, obviously.
Right.
Today, if you could make a difference today, regardless of position, what do you think the township, couple things the township could really be doing right now to get even better?
You know, the township is a wonderful place to live. Let me just start there. When we were looking for a home, we chose Clinton Township because of their amenities, because of their parks, the police, the fire, MedStar, things like that, and especially the schools, right? So that was our draw. And being here, I've only seen really improvements to the township and growth, which is really important. So when I look at it, I know the biggest complaint is always roads. I mean, out of all things, and it's a huge thing, because I know even the street I'm on, you might as well just give it up,
Yeah. Or buy a tire store.
Buy a tire store, or rim. You're going to need some rims and tires. We just know what you're going to need. So, I mean, roads are a huge thing, and that's usually the biggest complaint that I've heard. And unfortunately, it takes funding for that. We also don't necessarily own our own roads. The county does, and people, some people understand that, some people don't. We're not a city, we're a township. So those variables they take play into what we can do and what we can't do. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be the one thing I would really want to make better, because I know that's an ongoing issue.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and just the communication factor. I am a big person, a huge opponent of communicating, and just having that outreach with our first responders is a huge thing to me. So that's still extremely important, and make sure we have those gaps bridged, and that people know that we can, if they need services or they need someone, that it's not always a negative situation, that they can go to them in a positive light. So
the position of trustee is very important in the township. You're running for the position of treasurer.
Yes.
Very important,
Yes.
difficult task.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think you're qualified to be the treasurer of Clinton Township?
It's not even I think. I know I'm qualified.
That's good.
And it's not to be arrogant. It's just what it is. I've ran my household for over 30 years, and not sure if you know, but it's not easy.
I would ask my wife. She probably agrees with you.
It's not easy. My husband is a pipe fitter with Pipe Fitters Local 636, and he was the main earner of our home, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to take that check and balance, 8 people, and we pinched pennies. We did what we needed to do. We still got to vacation. We still got the things we needed and pretty much what we wanted. So I have been my family's, fiscal financial manager for years, the senior manager for years. I've been a CPA. I do the taxes. I've taught my children how to do the taxes. I'm the investor. So that I can bring over to the township in the government capacity, because those are the things you need to know. You need to understand. I mean, I know it's a much broader range, but still you need to know those things. And all that's not book knowledge, that's experience. I own my own home. So when, we say we collect taxes, that's important because I want to know where my tax dollars go. And it's not to, and even in my older 2 sons, the oldest 2, when they got ready to purchase their homes, they stayed in Clinton Township. They purchased their homes in Clinton Township. So they are taxpayers. So I understand that part, and I want to see where my tax dollars go, and I want to make sure I'm getting the most bang for my buck. And that's anyone out here, because that's another one I hear is our taxes are high, but they want to look and go, the transparency of it. What are we getting for that? For me, I understand why I'm paying these taxes, and I'm okay with that because I get the services. I have those services available to me. Mm-hmm. So that I understand, and that transparency, bringing that to people is important.
So I agree, and I think that the interesting part about the township is that as a treasurer, you stay a voting member on the board.
Right.
So you still have 2 hats. You have the hat you currently have,
mm-hmm.
and the headaches that go along with it. Mm-hmm. And then you buy another hat for more headaches to be the treasurer.
Yes.
Do you see where being the treasurer and what goes along with that, mm-hmm. obviously, and that office has been filled by good people, so I've been here most of my life. Do you see where that gives you an advantage or disadvantage with regard to also being a board member?
I really do. I think there is an advantage of being a board member because I am a voting member. I get to still help make those decisions. And and granted, it's the whole board that we have to, of course, have the majority. But I have input. I have say. And I think that's important when it comes to the Treasurer's Department and running that department as a whole. So, yeah, I do see an advantage to it.
With that comes the luxury of having several employees.
Yes.
You get to be a boss.
Yeah.
Nobody likes the boss.
I don't really, I don't like the word boss.
Too bad.
But yeah, it is what it is. I get it.
You're jumping in the fire. I didn't tell you to go be a boss.
No, you didn't.
Said here you want to be the boss. So.
But I understand the Treasurer's Department has a phenomenal team.
Great team.
The deputy treasurer is, and as well as the staff, they're extremely knowledgeable.
Yep.
And that I will give them. So I will also be learning from them. While I can also, I am a huge, I love learning. It's just what it is. So in these last 4 years, I've been to Harvard. I've learned state and local government. I've learned women in power, which is another, leadership. Those things, those are so important to me. I went after my business degree, not ever thinking I really wanted to run for treasurer. That wasn't really even, it's just me wanting to learn something new. So I got my business degree, I did my Lean Six Sigma, and I got a black belt. So learning has never been an issue for me.
You told me, so I asked the right questions here. I don't want to get hurt before this is over.
Oh my God. So learning has never been an issue. Educating myself has never been an issue. I know, going in, I will need a certification. There's a couple of them, investor management, manager for the township, as well as the treasurer's certification. I would love to do that because it's more education for me. But I also know there's a new system coming, and the current department will need, over that transition of the year of that BSA technology system will be crucial. They'll need an advocate, and they'll need stability. And I'm able to do that for them. And I will continue to do that.
Well, I think that's extremely important. The leadership part of it, we think of the position as, the person writing the checks and collecting the taxes and such and such. And but I don't think we address enough from outside the fishbowl
It's leadership.
the leadership part
It's
of
leadership. It's communication.
it. And in today's world, that's a little bit fragmented on a good day
Yes.
and every day. I think that's one of the critical points that the communication part we often would hear, and obviously from outside the fishbowl again, that the township board here it spends a lot of time with their worries about who the Democrats like and who the Republicans like, and the issue becomes a non-issue because whoever didn't like it, everybody doesn't like it. On the other hand, if you do know and have been around the township, everything that's ever been accomplished basically came down from the board.
Yeah.
And people go, I love living here, I love the park, the police are good. And, well, they don't realize that with the supervisor, the board, that's why it's like it is.
Right.
But we always look for a little bit of the negative, and what was the negative? Well, they were fighting on the board. Well, basically that's more headline than everybody's having fun, kumbaya.
Right.
So, you as a person, your background, military.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service to this country, and you continue to serve.
I think it's just in us. Any military person you talk to, I mean, we don't get away from service. You find a lot of us always volunteering and always in the community.
Well, I would think that experiencing being a trustee and the headaches that go along with that. I mean, personally, I can't imagine why you want to go get more.
I can go home and pet my puppy.
Well, I'll say a prayer for your husband because he's in for a real party when you both get elected. There's need for improvement, and there's a lot of things that have gone well since you've been on the board.
Yes.
You learned a lot.
I have.
The township itself is pretty well grown up. I mean, I guess about 95% of it's grown up.
Yes.
But there's always room. There's room to improve.
Always.
How do you feel with regard to small business? I mean, the treasurer has a big handle on what goes on money-wise, but y'all have to be responsible for, if we don't have small businesses in this community, we don't survive.
We can't thrive. We cannot survive.
So what do we need to do, Tammy, to, I don't know, maybe make that environment a little bit easier? Or
I
mean, the banks, it's tough. You can't borrow money now. It's
you
hard.
can't. It's very difficult.
And so entrepreneurs, a lot of people leaving corporate America saying, I want to open a franchise. How do we make them say, look, you got to come to Clinton Township?
Right, and
This
open
is
your
where
business
it's at.
here. Yes. Well, I'm a small business owner. So I actually own a couple of few businesses in Clinton Township. One that I actually lease out, which was a process. And sometimes I just feel like, and our department heads are phenomenal. But some of that process to me could have been a little bit more streamlined. It's not as difficult because I think that's also somewhat of a negative. When people come, they say, well, this is too hard, there's too many things to do, and you have me doing this, that, and the other. I went through that process, so I can say I'm on that side of it. Was it worth it? I still got to open my business, so yes, but was it a little bit of a headache? Absolutely. So I think things like that we need to look at. Like, how are we treating people that are coming into our township that want to open businesses? Is there anything we can do to incentivize them coming? Those things are important because we want to bring them in. We want that business because, again, you get employees, everything is a full circle, right? People are here to make money. They want to, you're employing people. There's taxes being paid. So it's revenue coming into the township. So yeah, I'm a small business owner. One of mine I've been for over 22 years and been very successful at it. I absolutely love it. And so I would go back to incentivizing and making things a little bit more streamlined.
Oh, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Everybody talks about bureaucracy and everything's got to be done.
It's a lot of red tape to be
and
cut through.
it seems like with the more technology we have, the more red tape we have. So I used to think technology was to solve all the problems.
Right.
It doesn't
Thinking
work.
it would have made it easier.
It doesn't work.
But I'm also a nonprofit owner. So, when it came to owning, to open a nonprofit, which I did in memory of my oldest daughter that had passed some years ago, I learned myself. These things I had to learn. I didn't pay an attorney. I didn't pay I said, let me sit down and figure this out, just because that's just the person I am as well.
You want to mention your nonprofit?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Team Patent Outreach. Yeah, we fill in the gaps for the community. So we've had some fun with it. We do a lot of stuffed animal drives, blanket drives. We also have taken schools to Pistons football, Pistons games, football games. So
Cheap ticket now with the Pistons. It's okay.
yeah, very much so. But those things I enjoy doing. That again is my commitment. That is again is what I enjoy, seeing people have different experiences and helping people. So again, going back to that nonprofit, that's paperwork. That was a lot, but I learned how to do it.
Right.
And I did it successfully. And I've helped others. And I think that's a lot of leadership. When you lead, you pull people up. You don't hold them down. You show the next person. And I think somewhere that gets lost in translation of what our board should do and what we could do. Because we have the whole township. When I went to the military, nobody asked me when I put my hand up and said I'm going to serve. They didn't ask me if I was Republican or Democrat. They just said, are you committed to your country and are you willing to serve?
Right.
And with that, you might get killed, you might not, you never know. But I made that oath. And to me, that was one of the most important oaths that I've ever taken. And I was always committed and always will be. And I still, to me, hold that oath. I have to serve the public. I have to serve the community as a whole. I don't get to choose or pick who I serve. So working together on that board is extremely important. It's not about bringing our own agendas to that board. It's about the agenda of the people, of the community, and that's what we need to focus on.
I agree. Well said. So in the next 2 minutes, I'd like to give you 2 hours. We don't have the kind of time.
Oh, man.
In the next 2 minutes, why don't you tell the wonderful people of Clinton Township why they should elect you as their treasurer?
One of the things I say is I've always been, I never wavered on the person I am. I'm out in the community. I love being out in the community. And I'm not just saying that as a cliche. People see me out there. But that wasn't something I have to do. That's something I choose to do. I am out there at ribbon cuttings for new businesses because I want to meet those business people and I want to have those relationships with them. I know how important networking is. So when it comes to me, I think I just bring it all to the table. I bring the educational piece, which I consider myself dangerously overeducated, but I won't say that right now. But honestly, my qualifications are there, but more important, I'm a people person. I listen, I know how to listen, and I help. I follow through because it's not enough to say you're going to do something. It's the follow through. So when someone calls or emails or whatever, I try to help. If it's not something I can do directly, I find a department that can. And that's what people need. They want to be heard. They want to know you're listening. And they want to know that if they reach out or that we're here. And that's, to me, one of the most important things.
Appreciate it. So on behalf of the people of Clinton Township, our crew here at Clinton Township Television, my great friends, and
love the crew.
And myself, first of all, again, thank you for your service. Second of all, thank you for your public service because in this environment, in today's world, it's not like you're walking into a great position to have fun, and it's tough. There's a lot going on around us, and there's a lot to deal with exterior as well as interior, and I'm sure you'll handle that well.
I bring that stability to it.
Beyond that, Tammy Patton for Clinton Township Treasurer.
Yes.
I want to wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you so
for
much.
Spending a few minutes with us.
Absolutely. Thank you. A pleasure.
Okay. And for Meet the Candidates, this is Tom Hakeem.